Part of what makes G.I. Joe a real American hero endearing to this day is its large cast of eclectic characters. While the original 64 Joe is undeniably the progenitor of the modern action figure, he was still a carte blanche doll. Individual characters wouldn't really work their way in until the late stages of the 70s Adventure Team, with Mike Power the Atomic Man and the Bullet Man. With the Real American Hero relaunch in 1982, we saw the debut of a new team of G.I. Joes, and while all these characters were based off of real military specialties, they were all given a unique identity. None of these characters were generics. Even Grunt, the most basic frontline GI mobile infantry cannon fodder, was his own unique character. That didn't stop people from using him like cannon fodder, but he was a man nonetheless.
I'm doing my part!
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit!
While the Joe team was fully unique in 1982, Cobra wasn't so lucky. With only 3 releases to their name, there was the Cobra Officer, the Cobra Trooper, and Cobra Commander himself, with these first 2 being complete carte blanche army builders. Cobra Commander was the only unique character among them. However, this wouldn't last long. By 1983 and 1984, Cobra would begin adding unique mercenaries, soldiers of fortune, scum, and villainy to their ranks. And even though he wasn't the first private contractor added to Cobra, he is the most memorable, and that is the outlaw biker and master of disguise, Zartan. Released in 1984, Zartan was that year's deluxe figure, meaning he didn't come on a blister card, he came in a quaint little box packed in with the Chameleon swamp skier. Considering he's a deluxe figure, Hasbro had a little bit more budget to play around with, so Zartan has his fair share of interesting little flourishes and details. But first, we'll start with the Chameleon Swamp Skier. Let's just get that out of the way. The Chameleon Swamp Skier is a pretty small-scale little vehicle. Really, it's more of a fun little bonus than anything impressive. It's not the focus of the toy. It has a bit of a DIY quality to it. It looks like something Zartan or any of the other Dreadnoks made themselves, and that's emphasized by the stripped-down nature of it, as well as the large exposed engine. It's pretty much just the bare necessities for stealth and mobility, but it does have a little bit of a personal touch to it, with the very adorable little fanged chameleons right up on the front. Unfortunately, the very thin, stripped-down aesthetic of the Swamp Skier actually lends it to being very fragile, and that's only increased over the years. It also doesn't help that it can be disguised as a pile of garbage, but it's not really much of a disguise. I mean, anything can be a pile of garbage if you try hard enough.
Frank, what the hell are you doing, man?
That's my character. I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring.
Now onto the garbage man himself, Zartan, who is much more interesting, admittedly, and that starts immediately with his outfit, a maroon, brown, and black ensemble with biker boots, an armored crop top, and a hood. Adding on to that, if you look at his head sculpt, he's either got a domino mask or Kiss-style snake face paint. It is a real crazy look, especially considering as of 1984, almost all of the Joes and Cobras were still very grounded in the Vietnam era of militaria, with a tiny dash of pulp adventure influence. Now, outside of being pretty badass, part of the reason for this look has to do with the main play feature of the toy. Zartan, as well as the body of the Swamp Skier, are made of light-sensitive plastic. On Zartan specifically, he'll change from a fairly healthy shade of peach to a pretty sickly and off-putting blue. I mean, you should probably go see a doctor about that. You're not Grand Admiral Thrawn. In addition to his color-changing plastic, there's also small color-changing stickers that go on the interior of his clear plastic crop top and knee pads. Unfortunately, all these little color-changing gimmicks will culminate in some major flaws that'll make getting a nice Zartan very difficult. The little stickers are very liable to getting lost or damaged. The clear plastic clips on his armor are very easily broken or stressed, and what's even worse is the fact that the entire torso is sonic welded together. Why is this a problem? Well, we gotta break down G.I. Joe's anatomy. See, the Real American Hero toy line are O-ring construction figures. By no means were they the first toys to do that. Those might be Micronauts. But the deal is there is a little metal hook that attaches the legs to the hips. That hook is strung through the body with an O-ring, a rubber band that gives the figure tension. This is what gives a G.I. Joe its unique range of posability, and if that O-ring breaks or wears out, typically speaking, you can unscrew the back and restring him easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The issue with Zartan, Xandar, and Zorana is the fact that their color-changing plastic is sealed. It's sonic welded. Even if you unscrew the back, it is still affixed together, meaning you cannot replace that O-ring easily. Unfortunately, just due to his own unique features, it makes finding a nice Zartan figure difficult, which sucks because he's a very fun and dynamic little figure. Part of that fun dynamism comes in his other accessories. He has a very cute little pistol. It's very sci-fi and very spacey. It kind of looks like a little hairdryer ray gun. I like it a lot. But really, his main feature, outside of the color-changing plastic and the swamp skier, is his disguise kit. At this point in G.I. Joe, most figures came equipped with a backpack, but very few had opening backpacks. What secret does this have? It has a mask. No, not that mask, or that mask either. Instead, it's a disguise mask. It clips in under the hood. Well, it doesn't really clip in so much as friction in. And honestly, it doesn't really look like anybody or anything. It just kind of looks like Zartan forgot to put on his makeup and shave that day, which, and that's a valid look. We've all had those days.
Ah, look at you, so young and happy. Where do the years go?
Actually, you know what? Zartan's hood is kind of funny when you start thinking about it. From a practical toy design standpoint, really the hood is just there, so the mask has something to snug into, something to keep it in place when you're playing with the toy. But when it comes to his depictions in Marvel and Sunbow, it really changes. In the Marvel comics, as well as a lot of the art that you see on ancillary merchandise, it's very clearly a peaked hood and cowl. Zartan's actually bald underneath, with the hood just being used to obfuscate his identity. When it comes to his disguises, he usually just uses makeup. However, in the Sunbow cartoon, I think there was some mix-up or miscommunication when it came to his character model, because most of the time, it doesn't look like a hood. It looks like he has long, luscious, flowing Jessica Rabbit-style hair. It's kind of weird and kind of funny. I kind of just like to think that he's just that extra fabulous and Cobra has to deal with it. But it also seems like they might have doubled down on this mistake because Xandar and Zorana, his brother and sister, both have various shades of red-orange hair. And then going into the Ninja Force subline where Zartan makes his second appearance, he's got a bright safety orange mohawk. So I guess Sunbow Zartan really just started the Dreadnok so he could raid salons for product and conditioner. I mean, I guess if you have hair that stylish, you gotta take care of it. In the grand, deep lore of G.I. Joe, which, believe me, is nowhere near as deep as Transformers, there's not a great explanation for Zartan's color changing. In the Sunbow cartoon, it seems like he's actively allergic to sunlight, like some kind of bayou vampire. But in the Marvel Comics, as well as Action Force UK supplementary material, it's said that he can change his skin to blend into his environment like a chameleon. And that harkens back to his original pre-production name, Captain Chameleon, which I'm really glad they changed that to Zartan. But this isn't the only change that Zartan would undergo, and no, I'm not talking about his Ninja Force getup. I'm talking about his file card. Zartan's character profile describes him as a master of disguise. He can blend into any environment, he can assume any character, he can speak well over 20 languages. You think he's there, then he's not. He's like dust in the wind.
Homer? Who is Homer? My name is Guy Incognito. Oh my god, this man is my exact double!
A master spy and a master assassin. But there's one thing missing. See, his original file card said that he was also an extreme paranoid schizophrenic, with his psychological profile breaking down into multiple different personalities, and each of his character personas is its own personality. And back in the 80s, Hasbro actually got hit by several complaints about this because, well, it's inaccurate. I mean, back in the day, it wasn't uncommon to use the term schizophrenia as a catch-all term for a myriad of different personality disorders. And if you were going to look at things very clinically, Zartan probably wouldn't have paranoid schizophrenia, he would probably have a dissociative identity disorder. And you know what, here's what I'll say about this 40-year-old controversy that was probably blown out of proportion back in the day. Hasbro's detractors are right. Zartan's characterization is inaccurate to that of schizophrenia, and it paints with a broad brush some issues that people with actual mental health disorders have. And also, I'll say this, from a writing perspective, it's a little bit messy. If you think about this from a fun, campy, pulp adventure military perspective, saying that your villain is an extreme paranoid schizophrenic makes it sound like he's a loose cannon, that he's a wild card, a real danger to our heroes. But the issue is, it's not presented that way. It's presented more similarly to dissociative identity disorder, which is more of a trauma-based reaction and disorder. I mean, as silly as it sounds, if you want to see a pulp adventure-style villain that has dissociative identity disorder, there is Diavolo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There is the base personality, the meek and mild-mannered Doppio, along with the Alter, the Dawn, a powerful, forceful criminal mastermind. It might be basic and bare bones, but shockingly it's much more accurate than Zartan. Plus, with the further development of the Marvel Comics, Zartan's character is much more focused on the Master Assassin, Master Spy aspect, especially considering that he is all involved with the Arashikage drama between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. I like Zartan a lot. He is very interesting and very unique amongst Cobra ranks. Like I said, he's not the first mercenary to be hired by Cobra Commander. That's Major Blood, but Major Blood's kind of a dipwad. Zartan's much more charismatic. That charisma definitely comes from how unique he is within G.I. Joe, especially compared to his contemporaries. He is wildly different. He's very much influenced by pulp fantasy adventure, and that kind of even goes into his name. Zartan is actually an anagram for Tarzan. And as silly as it sounds, I could almost imagine in-universe that's how Zartan came up with his alias. After all, we don't know what his true name is, or where he's from, or what he was doing. All we know is he is the Master of Disguise, a Master Assassin, and a Master Spy, as well as the leader of the Dreadnok biker gang. He truly is a mystery, wrapped in enigma, paired with a chocolate donut, and generously served with a grape soda. Or that might just be the Dreadnok's average diet.